And we're back from our break. Welcome to another edition of Hometown Heroes. I'm your host, Jay Hurley, Mayor of Leesburg. This is such a great program, and I always like to remind people every time we have someone come on, in case you just tuned in and you're not familiar with our program, Hometown Heroes. Hometown Heroes is something where, as the mayor, I wanted to find a way to let the community get to meet some of the people that make such a difference in our town because they care so much. It's not about getting a paycheck. It's not about some kind of personal thing where there's a reward for them. It's because they really care about the quality of life for their community, and they care about other people wanting to make a difference. And when you hear my guest today, nobody is more involved in trying to make a difference in the lives of the other people around them than Miss Denise Burry. Thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to have you today.
Thank you.
Before we get into it, I always like to leave a little bit of a surprise towards the end of the show, but I like people to meet who my hero is today. And this one really was such an honor for me, knowing a little bit about you, but not really to the extent after I got to talking to you. You're just full of surprises. And what really we're going to, I think, as our guests get to watch our episode today, they're going to really find out this is something that you've been doing for a long time. So I want to introduce them to Denise Burry, but I want them, you're a true Floridian.
True.
The real deal. That's rare,
real
you know.
deal.
I mean, born in
Orlando.
Orlando, okay.
And I settled here when I was 6.
Okay, so then transplanted over a few years later and been in Lake County. Well, let's see, you were 6, you're 29. Been here a few years now, right?
That's right, that's right.
Okay, and Dad owned a business, so he was very involved, obviously, in Lake County and the community. And then you meet your knight in shining armor, and his father was a pharmacist and was a business owner here in Leesburg. And then somehow or another, how does that always go? Father and then the son seems to follow in the footsteps because your husband
is a pharmacist. Soon my son will be.
Really? So now your husband, your father-in-law owned
Burry's Pharmacy.
Burry's Pharmacy, and that's on 3rd and Webster, or is that 3rd and
Lee and Webster?
Lee and Webster. Okay, so it's right between those, right behind Sprint Building.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Correct.
And if you don't have a pharmacy, you need to go there. I mean, they will treat you right, customer service, and it's one of those quaint, personal. They'll get to know you. So there's a little plug for my friends at Burry Pharmacy because they do a great job. But then father-in-law retires, husband takes over, and now owns it, and I guess now you're putting in the concession for your son to take over.
That's it.
All right, I like the way you do
That's
it. Speaking of sons, and this is going to get into our viewers are really going to enjoy this later, but you have how many children now?
8.
8. Did you see that, folks? 8. And you have 6 that are your own.
Correct.
And then 2 that you adopted that are now your own.
Correct.
Absolutely. Correct. So we have 8. Now, this leads into why you became hero, because you've done so much over the last several years. You've been very involved in this. It's something new for you. You kind of tell me how you got started in working with children. I know you were at the church. You did the Christmas trees,
The angel tree, yes.
and you built that up tremendously. I mean,
well, I kind of took it over, but we worked to get kids gifts and
at Christmas
family
time.
food at Christmas time.
Right, but you got up to like 200 kids, didn't you?
We did.
I mean,
yeah.
that's an outstanding program. And do they still do that?
I believe they do.
Okay, because I know a lot of churches.
Yeah,
I know a lot of churches have gotten in, and that's an awesome thing. So if you ever want to help somebody out and you want to reach out to a kid you don't know where to do, reach out to a lot of your local churches because they'll do the Christmas tree. You'll pick the gifts that those children have requested, and it's a great way, or give food to the family. So if you don't know how to give, that's a good thing. But you kind of took that, and then you went to the next step. And you actually know my father because of the Guardian Ad Litem program. You became a certified Guardian Ad Litem, and I don't think a lot of people really understand what the Guardian Ad Litem responsibility is. You are there for the child. You're not interested in anybody. Your focus is to make sure that child is being taken care of.
True. A Guardian Ad Litem is appointed by the court to represent a child's best interests. So they advocate for what's best for the child. And
that's
while
awesome.
the child is involved in the dependency system.
Okay, that's awesome. And I do know that speaking with my dad over the last several years when he was very involved in it, there's some heartbreaking cases out there.
There are. Anytime that a child has their concerns for the family, as far as the child concerns, it's heartbreaking. So we work the best to reunite the child and keep the family together, but sometimes that can't happen, and that's always heartbreaking.
So you're there to let that child know, hey, I'm your best friend, and if it don't work out here, we're going to find a place to make it work out. You can lean on me, you can trust me.
That's it.
I'm going to take care of you, and you find them places.
You work to see that they have the best outcome.
That's awesome.
And give what you can to do that.
And you get in return.
Zero. It's an unpaid position, volunteer.
It's here, isn't it?
Right.
You just care down in your heart.
Right.
You just want to make a difference. And so you adopt 2 of your own kids.
I do.
And is that your youngest ones? Or are they in the mix there?
No, my youngest is adopted, but then we have another one in the mix. So
Okay. So, wow. 6, fell in love, need 2 more.
that's it.
Yeah. Now, is number
Living
9 on the
crazy.
way?
No. We have a grandchild now.
So we're starting over just on a new generation.
That's it.
Okay.
That's
Well, you
a lot
know,
of fun.
by the time you have 8 children that have grandkids, you're going to need like a piece of paper with names to remember them all, because you have the potential here for a lot of grandkids.
That could happen. Yeah, well, it's yet to be seen.
So you kind of go, and I want to now really get to, because, I mean, you even took it a step further. You're involved in that. And then you are the director and the founder of Forward Paths.
Correct.
And you know, until I talked to you, I didn't even realize the extent. But I really want to share with our viewers today something that you just don't think about, because in our minds, you know, you have the court system in place, and we have the guardian ad litem, and we're taking this child that's 6 or 10 or whatever, and we're finding them a home. But and for I guess for those of us that are unfamiliar with it, there's kind of a period there. But for you, you saw the big picture that at 18,
something else needs
there's
to
a
happen.
period there
Right.
for that child too.
Right.
So now what do we do? I just graduated high school, or I'm fixing to graduate high school. I'm 18 years old, and what happens to them?
They're on their own.
They're on their own.
They're on their own.
Wow.
We also work with kids that are homeless unaccompanied, so that means they're homeless without their parents. So in those 2 situations, and realistically, that's what happens whenever a kid ages out of foster care, is they're on their own. They lack housing and connections to the community. Most of the time, driver's license or job experience, and it's like, how does somebody like that start their life
Wow.
without those things in place?
You know, I mean, I'm going to tell you, you know, I'm very thankful. I was so fortunate to have an outstanding set of parents in my life, and I'm blessed that they're still alive and involved in my life now. And I remember back, you know, when I turned 18, having my parents there and all their guidance and help and assistance, still how hard it was to go out there and to get established. And when you have a struggling economy and some of the difficulties we have in place right now, just as a whole in our nation, I can't imagine how hard it is to go, I'm 18, and all of a sudden I'm out on my own whether I like it or not. I mean, that's got to be really a hard situation. And you're here to say, I'm going to help you.
Right.
I mean,
That's the idea.
wow. Now, how did you come up with this?
Well, just watching the kids, the first case that I had as guardian ad litem, the girl aged out, and I'm like, she was expected to be okay, and I'm like, wait a minute, she's not going to be okay.
Okay.
Something else has to happen.
Sure.
So we tried to figure out what this something else is, and one of the main concerns we have is housing. Housing is so difficult, even for us to find it now, that it's like, I can't imagine a teenager having to find housing on their own. Especially starting off with nothing in the reserve. You know, how do you get money for a deposit? How do you get money for a vehicle? How do you get uniforms to start your job? And that's where we come in and try to fill in the missing pieces so that they can go on to be productive, which benefits us in the long run.
Absolutely.
So then we don't have to support them for the rest of their life. You know, it's doing whatever we can to get them on their feet so that then they can stand alone.
Well, here's the thing that you told me earlier when we were talking that really surprised me, and I kind of got the whole, wow, I can't believe the challenges that are out there. But you take the jobs that most high school students can get, we're going to be at an $8 an hour type job.
Right.
And now they got to go find an apartment and things of that nature. And you said that right now, for them to be able to sustain a 2-bedroom apartment and to have a place to live, they need to make
$18.56
an hour, 40 hour full.
Right.
18, that's $12 more, or $10, I'm sorry. You said
Right.
$18.56.
Right.
So that's $10.56
More
more
than minimum wage.
than what the normal job.
Right.
And heck, I know people with careers that are trying to make $18 an
Right,
hour.
correct.
So without any formal education and without any kind of degree to take you to a job of that nature, I can't imagine how
Start
they're
off with
making it.
nothing.
Yeah.
You're starting off no clothes, no mentors, no roof over your head, no car in the driveway. How do you get there? Our transportation system's lacking. So how do they make it all work? And they're very stressed, very, very stressed. So the idea is to come around them and get them what they need so that they can continue their education and secure better job skills, and then they can go out on their own.
Okay, so some real quick questions for you here. First off, how long have you had Forward Paths?
3.5 years.
3.5 years. Okay, and I mean, do you have like a group of board members or other people involved in your organization
We
or
do,
helping
and
you reach out?
We're always looking to make that better.
Okay.
But we do. We have a board, and then we have a group of volunteers that come in, and we're always looking for new volunteers. And they do anything from work to write grants, bring in donations for housing goods, cleaning supplies. We have some great groups, social groups that come in and help in one way or another. And then there's always donations because we're paying for rent. So, and electricity, or at least helping students.
Okay.
So we currently worked with 5 high school seniors, and all of them graduated. So we're really
Wow.
pleased about the outcomes that we're
Sure.
getting with the kids that we work with.
Now, do you have any, I know it's caught you off guard, but remotely, kind of a rough estimate, how many kids have you helped in the 3.5 years, would you think?
More than 60. Currently we're working
Wow.
with 47.
47 right now.
47 youth. And every youth is different, so we don't house them all, but we are paying at least partial rent for 21 youth and 7 little ones.
Man.
So, and we do what we can with the funds that we have. We're all privately funded at this current time, but we're working to change that and working to meet the need.
So, for our viewers, if you're out there and you want to do something to help somebody, not just, worldwide, you want to help somebody right here that you could be sitting beside in a restaurant or passing in the grocery store or sitting in your congregation at church and you were unaware of it, here is a place that you can go to Forward Paths with Denise and help somebody that's trying to get their life started and didn't have some of the opportunities that those of us that were blessed with families had. You want to reach out, give Denise a call, go to her website. She's going to be giving us that information in a minute. But this is just so, I really am almost at a loss of words because I didn't realize the magnitude of it. And most of us, I don't think, realize that we even have children that are homeless. You think of the homeless person that you see on the side of the interstate or something like that. It's an adult and things in their lives that put them in that position. But the children, a lot of times, it's totally beyond their control. They didn't do anything to put themselves in that position or deserve it. No. And so tell us how they can get involved. Tell us what some of your immediate needs are that we could help, if you don't mind. Let our viewers know here.
Okay, well, you can find us, first of all, by going to forwardpaths.org, and we're on Facebook as well. And you can send us a message, or on our website, there's a contact page. So you can send us a message, and we'll call you back. And then we need anything from mentors to people to help us sometimes when we're staging apartments to kind of get the kids ready to move in or help them with what they don't have. Always employers that are willing to take a risk on hiring a youth and spend a little time to build their job skills. And then just advocates that want to help them with their education. Sometimes it's as simple as helping them fill out paperwork.
Okay.
So that they get what they need to go to the next step.
And for your employers, don't forget, you didn't have experience until after your first job. So
true.
you have to get a start somewhere.
That's true.
And I really am. I'm thankful from my heart for what you're doing for these children.
Thank you.
And for what you're doing for our community, because as the saying goes, if not but for the grace of God, there go I. And to think about what options lie here if they don't find the help. A lot of times they end up turning to a bad crowd or reaching out to others who would help them or other means to generate that money. and that leads them down a dark road. And so
really don't want them to be driven to that.
you're not just helping people find a home and get them set, but you may be saving their lives. What you're doing is huge, and you're making a difference not in our community only, but specifically in some lives. And those are going to be men and women who get married and have children and pass it on. They're going to look back, and when Denise is gone, they're going to be able to say, but I'm here because of that lady. And I want to say thank you so much.
You.
Hey, listen, this might not mean a lot to you really, because your husband I think is going to steal it, but our partners at Home Depot also like to give something back. And so here is a gift certificate to the Home Depot.
Thank you.
And you know, you might could find a mop in there, you know, if you don't tell them about it, you know. Something that you might like yourself.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for getting him. And one more time, tell them real quick, website, I know, forwardpaths.org.
Forwardpaths.org, and you can find us on Facebook, Forward Paths.
And is there a phone number?
Yeah, there is, 352-408-2307.
Very good. Thank you so much, Denise.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching this show of Hometown Heroes. I know today you've been inspired, and I know today you have been shocked at the depth of the type of people that we have right here in our community with us. Until next time, I hope you have a great week. Keep smiling because you live in Leesburg, Florida. So get out and enjoy our hometown.